Welcome to the Classic Soap Operas podcast.
Glad to be here.
Today, we are strapping ourselves in for a truly epic deep dive. We're heading into a world just overflowing with, well, endless drama, shocking plot twists.
Oh, yeah.
And the incredible pioneering mind behind so much of what we know about daytime television.
Absolutely.
Get ready, because we are talking about the legendary Irna Phillips, the undisputed queen of soaps, and one of her most talked about and frankly controversial creations, Love is a Many Splendored Thing. We're going to unpack this fascinating corner of broadcast history.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is how Irna Phillips didn't just, write shows. She meticulously crafted an entire genre.
Right.
She basically laid the foundational bricks for what we now recognize as the modern daytime serial. She defined its very rhythm, its structure.
The whole feel of it.
Exactly. And Love is a Many Splendored Thing. Well, it isn't just another credit on her impressive resume. It's a vivid example of her bold vision. She was consistently pushing societal boundaries and generating intense discussion, both on screen with its storylines and very much behind the scenes with the network executives.
Oh, I bet.
It's a compelling testament to her influence, even amidst significant challenges and pushback.
Absolutely. And for today's deep dive, you, our amazing listener, have provided us with some truly comprehensive source material. We're drawing from Wikipedia entries on both Irna Phillips and Love is a Many Splendored Thing.
Good stuff there.
Yeah, so we are going to meticulously navigate these sources, tracing the origins of her genius, the controversies that, well, inevitably followed her boundary-pushing narratives, and the lasting legacies of both Phillips herself and this truly wild show. Our mission is to make sure you walk away well-informed with some genuinely surprising facts.
Definitely some surprises in there.
And maybe a chuckle or two about just how gloriously complicated these storylines could get. Seriously, sometimes I think you need like a detailed family tree or maybe even a flowchart.
Oh, for sure.
It's just to keep up with who's secretly related to whom or who's been married to everyone else in town.
It's true. The sheer intricacy is undeniably a huge part of their enduring charm. They were and still are narratives that demand your full attention.
All right, let's begin with the woman who started it all, the architect of daytime drama, Irna Phillips. She's often celebrated as the mother of the soap opera, or, my personal favorite, the queen of the soaps.
A fitting title.
Born on July 1st, 1901 in Chicago, Illinois. And she came from quite a large family, one of 10 children in a German-Jewish household.
10 kids, imagine that.
Imagine the chaos, the noise, the sheer energy of that house. And her father tragically unalived himself when she was just 8 years old.
Oh, wow, so young.
Yeah, leaving her mother, who was a German immigrant, to raise all 10 children alone in, extremely challenging circumstances.
Unbelievable struggle.
That must have been an immense, unimaginable struggle for that family.
It's truly difficult to overstate the profound impact her early life had on the stories she would later tell. Phillips often reflected on her childhood, claiming to have been a lonely child, frequently given hand-me-down clothes, feeling a sense of isolation even within that large family.
Right.
It was in this solitude that she found solace, and ultimately her calling, really, in her imagination. She would spend hours making up long and involved stories for her dolls to live out.
Ah, the beginning.
This, even then, was a clear, early hint at her future career as a storyteller. Her personal experiences of loss, abandonment, loneliness, coupled with the sheer grit and struggle of her mother raising such a large family, deeply informed the emotional depth, the recurring themes of resilience, and often the tragic undertones that became hallmarks of her later serials.
So it wasn't just plot, it was personal.
Exactly. This isn't just biographical detail. It's the very DNA of her storytelling, connecting her deepest pains to narratives that would resonate with millions.
And here's where it gets really interesting and, well, profoundly sad, because this personal pain directly fueled her most iconic work. At the tender age of 19, Phillips found herself pregnant and abandoned by her boyfriend.
Wow.
She then gave birth to a stillborn baby. That immense personal tragedy, that specific grief, would later directly inspire one of her most famous and astonishingly long-running shows, The Guiding Light.
That's incredible. Heartbreaking, but incredible.
It's heartbreaking to consider such a deep wound, but it speaks volumes about her as an artist, how she channeled her most vulnerable experiences into art that connected with, a universal human experience. It's a testament to her resilience, isn't it?
It truly is. It stands as a powerful example of how personal experience became the wellspring for universal themes that transcended the airwaves.
Yeah.
And before she became this legendary writer and showrunner, her early career path was quite different. She actually harbored aspirations to be an actress. Yeah, diving deep into drama studies, earning a Master of Arts from the University of Illinois, and then a Master's in Journalism from the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Quite academic.
Very. But in a twist of fate that is almost ironic, given her future impact, her teachers famously told her she was too plain for acting success.
Get out. Too plain.
Can you believe that? The woman who would shape an entire industry and touch the lives of millions of viewers was initially told she wasn't cut out for the spotlight.
Unbelievable. What an incredible misjudgment. So she pivoted, but clearly never truly gave up on her passion.
Seems like it.
From 1925 to 1930, she taught drama and theater history in Dayton, Ohio. But even then, she continued to pursue radio acting roles at WGN in Chicago.
Right. Kept her foot in the door.
That persistence, that refusal to let a setback define her path, is truly admirable. It also speaks to her understanding of the new medium of radio.
It absolutely does. And it was at WGN in 1930 that Phillips made her truly groundbreaking innovations in radio that would, well, define an entire genre.
Okay, so this is where it really takes off.
This is it. She created Painted Dreams for the local Chicago station, airing daily except Sundays. What's remarkable is that she didn't just write every single episode.
Which is amazing in itself.
Right. She also starred in it, playing two characters, Mother Moynihan and Sue Morton.
Wow, wearing multiple hats.
And she consciously based Mother Moynihan's struggles on her own mother's obstacles, bringing that raw, personal touch we just discussed directly into her earliest work.
So she was literally embodying the struggles of her characters, at least in part. How revolutionary was this for the time? What were some of her key innovations with Painted Dreams that set it apart?
Well, with Painted Dreams, she genuinely pioneered the daytime serial format, specifically tailoring it for women listeners.
Okay.
This was revolutionary because most radio programming was not designed with women at home in mind. She understood their daily routines, their emotional needs, and what kind of stories would captivate them over long periods.
Really knowing her audience.
Exactly. And beyond just the format, she introduced two fundamental techniques that became the undisputed hallmarks of the genre. First, the organ bridge.
Ah, that sound.
That distinctive musical interlude for smooth transitions between scenes. This wasn't just a musical flourish, it was a psychological cue, subtly guiding the listener through scene changes and emotional shifts in a medium purely reliant on sound, kind of creating a visual flow for the mind's eye.
Right, setting the mood.
Second, and perhaps even more impactful, was the cliffhanger ending to each episode.
The classic.
This, of course, brilliantly kept audiences tuning in day after day, desperate to find out what happened next.
Ah, the cliffhanger. The bread and butter of soap operas. I can almost hear that dramatic organ music now, fading out just as someone discovers a shocking secret. It's incredible to think how these seemingly simple innovations completely reshaped the way stories were told and consumed.
Totally.
But she also faced significant challenges and a lot of disapproval, especially in what was very much a male-dominated industry, didn't she?
Absolutely. She endured much disapproval from powerful sponsors like Procter & Gamble, who almost unbelievably claimed her audience was childlike, unrealistic, vulgar, and distasteful.
Wow, that's harsh.
That was the prevailing, often dismissive attitude towards programming aimed at women, frequently dismissed as soap opera by the very people funding them.
Right.
But Phillips pushed back not with words, but simply through the power and authenticity of her writing. Her female characters were depicted as strong women with options, education, and personality, a stark contrast to the often one-dimensional, stereotypical 1930s women portrayed in other media.
That's fantastic.
For instance, the core conflict in Painted Dreams often revolved around traditional versus changing gender roles, exemplified by Irene Moynihan's ambition for a career, which directly challenged more traditional views held by characters like Mother Moynihan. This was radical for the time, empowering her female listeners with relatable, complex figures.
She sounds like a total force of nature, especially when you consider how entrenched those attitudes must have been. And she even had to fight tooth and nail for ownership of her own creation. That's a battle many creators still face today, but imagine doing it as a woman in the 1930s. Tell us about that crucial legal battle.
Yes. In 1932, Phillips urged WGN to sell Painted Dreams nationally, recognizing its potential beyond Chicago. But WGN refused, making the audacious claim that they came up with the idea for the show.
Seriously, they tried to take credit.
Yep. So Phillips, with characteristic determination, took them to court, asserting her property rights. While the legal battle ultimately ended her association with WGN, it taught her an absolutely crucial lesson.
Okay.
From then on, Phillips made sure through meticulous legal arrangements to retain all rights and ownership to her future shows.
Smart move. Very smart.
This was an incredibly shrewd and pioneering business move for a woman in that era. In an industry where networks and sponsors often fully owned content and writers were mere employees, Phillips's insistence on retaining rights was revolutionary.
Yeah, it really set a precedent.
It laid a groundwork for creator control that would empower future writers and showrunners in Hollywood, ensuring they had a stake in their intellectual property, not just a paycheck.
It's wild to think she couldn't work on her own creation after that fight.
I know. And on a personal note, her mother's death later led her to demand that Today's Children, which was the renamed Painted Dreams, be discontinued.
Wow.
CBS agreed, replacing it with her new series, Woman in White, one of the very first daytime serials to be set in a hospital, showcasing her remarkable versatility and willingness to explore new settings for drama.
The sheer volume of her work is truly astounding. She wasn't just creating hit after hit, she was also mentoring future giants of the soap opera world, like Agnes Nixon and William J. Bell, even back in her early radio days.
Yeah, building an empire.
I mean, how did she manage all of this? It honestly makes my head spin just thinking about it. She must have had endless energy.
It's truly incredible to consider her productivity and profound influence, especially as she transitioned into the golden age of radio and then pioneered in early television. In 1937, she created The Guiding Light, which, as we touched on, was profoundly personal for her.
Right, the connection to her loss.
Exactly. After the immense grief of her stillborn child at 19, she found comfort in sermons delivered by a church preacher who focused on the universal concept of the brotherhood of man, emphasizing community and support. These sermons, and that specific search for comfort and guidance, formed the very nucleus of The Guiding Light. It started on NBC Radio, was actually canceled twice, in 1939 and 1946.
Twice?
But was brought back by popular demand both times. Audiences simply wouldn't let it go.
Wow, listener power.
Totally. CBS then picked it up in 1947, and it made the leap to television in 1952, eventually running all the way until 2009.
70 years. That's just mind-boggling. She must have been working nonstop, inventing new ways to tell stories.
She was absolutely relentless. Consider this. In the 1940s alone, Phillips wrote an astounding 2 million words a year.
2 million.
That's roughly equivalent to writing 20 full-length novels every single year.
Good grief.
She dictated 6 to 8 hours a day and earned $250,000 annually. That was an immense sum for the time, especially for a woman in a creative and executive role.
Unbelievable work ethic.
Beyond The Guiding Light, she also created other major radio and TV hits, like The Right to Happiness and The Brighter Day. And in 1949, she made history again, creating These Are My Children, which was the very first serial ever broadcast on a major television network. She was truly a trailblazer in every sense.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because in 1956, she creates As the World Turns, which becomes another iconic title, setting new benchmarks for the genre.
Indeed. As the World Turns was one of the first 2 daytime serials to expand to a half-hour format, along with The Edge of Night, which premiered on the exact same day.
Okay, longer stories.
This half-hour format allowed for more complex plots and character development. Within just 2 years, As the World Turns didn't just become popular. It became the highest-rated drama on television, holding that prestigious position for over 2 decades.
2 decades at #1. Incredible!
This show also provides a fantastic, almost legendary anecdote that perfectly illustrates Phillips's strong-willed, uncompromising nature and her almost obsessive attention to detail.
Oh, I think I know this one.
She famously fired lead actress Helen Wagner, who played the beloved character Nancy Hughes, because Phillips reportedly did not like the way she poured coffee.
She fired a lead actress over coffee pouring. That is either the most extreme dedication to detail I've ever heard, or perhaps a touch of, shall we say, strong personal preference that verged on the eccentric. What happened after that?
It certainly is. But the story only gets better. Procter & Gamble, the powerful sponsor, and CBS, the network, both backed Wagner, recognizing her importance to the show.
Pushback.
They forced Phillips to rehire her. And in a twist that only real-life drama can truly provide, Helen Wagner remained on the series until her death in 2010, just months before the show itself concluded its incredible run.
Wow. So Wagner outlasted almost everyone.
Pretty much. This anecdote perfectly highlights the fascinating power dynamics within early television production, the rare influence Phillips wielded, and her fierce, often unyielding creative control. She was a true force that even powerful corporations had to contend with.
That's truly incredible. She was a pioneer, an innovator, and clearly someone who absolutely knew what she wanted and wasn't afraid to fight for it. Now let's transition to a specific creation that really embodies Phillips's unique vision and the controversies that consistently seem to follow her boundary-pushing narratives. Love is a many-splendored thing.
Right. The focus of today.
This was a CBS daytime soap opera that aired from September 18, 1967 to March 23, 1973. It was created by Irna Phillips as a direct spin-off from the classic 1955 20th Century Fox film of the same name, picking up the story years later. And it was all set against the dramatic, iconic backdrop of San Francisco, California, with its title sequence famously featuring the Golden Gate Bridge.
Exactly. Phillips was specifically hired to adapt the film's story, advancing it years into the future. The initial star of the show was Nancy Shue as Mia Elliott, who was portrayed as the daughter of the characters from the original film, Dr. Mark Elliott and Hans Swin.
Okay, so a direct lineage.
Mia arrives in San Francisco from Hong Kong to study medicine, quickly becoming involved in a romantic triangle with pilot Paul Bradley and later Dr. Jim Abbott. But this is precisely where the core controversies and Phillips's deeply held principles truly came to the forefront, almost immediately setting the stage for conflict with the network.
Tell us more about those initial network clashes. I hear they were quite something, even by the standards of soap opera drama.
They absolutely were, and they speak directly to Phillips's pioneering spirit. CBS censors balked at an interracial love story between a white man and an Armenian woman.
Wow, in the late 60s, that was bold.
Incredibly bold and progressive for the time. Such relationships were still rarely depicted on mainstream television, and the network was clearly uncomfortable with the potential social backlash.
Right, playing it safe.
Beyond that, the network was also uncomfortable with a developing subplot in which Jim Abbott was implicated in the death of a young patient, the result of a botched terminated pregnancy.
Okay, another hot-button issue.
Again, a profoundly sensitive and controversial topic, especially for daytime television at that time.
Wow, so not just one, but two extremely sensitive and groundbreaking topics for the era, both challenging deeply held societal norms. What did Phillips do in response to this pushback?
Phillips, with her unwavering dedication to her creative vision and her fierce commitment to pushing social boundaries, was utterly unwilling to compromise her story for CBS executives.
So she wouldn't budge.
Not an inch. In March 1968, she simply quit the series.
Just walked away.
Just walked away. As a direct result, the character of Mia Elliott, the show's initial central figure, was abruptly written out and never mentioned again.
Wow, that's commitment to your story.
This incident perfectly highlights how far ahead of her time Phillips truly was, consistently pushing social boundaries and courageously facing the strict censorship challenges that were so prevalent in early television and especially in soap opera writing.
Yeah.
She consistently prioritized her creative vision and her desire to explore contemporary social issues over network demands, which speaks volumes about her integrity as a storyteller.
She truly stuck to her guns, even at the cost of her own show.
Yeah.
But the drama, both on screen and behind the scenes, certainly didn't end with her departure, did it?
Oh, not by a long shot.
Even without Irna Phillips, this show seemed to attract controversy like a magnet. It's like the creative team said, okay, Phillips left, hold my metaphorical beer, we can still deliver the goods.
Not at all. The drama absolutely continued, perhaps even intensified. After Phillips left, a husband and wife writing team, Jane and Ira Avery, took over in February 1968.
Okay, new blood.
They quickly refocused the series on two prominent families, the Donnellys and the Elliots. The Donnelly family was led by the widowed Dr. Will Donnelly and his 3 adult children, Tom, a police lieutenant, Iris, a troubled college graduate, and Laura, who was a novitiate nun, committed to her religious calling.
A nun. Okay, instant drama potential.
And the Elliots consisted of the wealthy Philip and Helen Elliott and their son Mark, a Vietnam War vet.
And here's where we get into the really spicy stuff, even by today's standards. What kind of tangled web did they weave with these families?
Indeed, Mark Elliott, the Vietnam vet, was engaged to Iris Donnelly, but he secretly harbored intense desires for her sister, Laura.
Uh-oh. The sister.
And Laura, the novitiate nun, found herself in an agonizing internal struggle as she tried unsuccessfully to fight off carnal desires for her sister's boyfriend.
Wow. The forbidden love angle.
This forbidden attraction predictably caused a storm of controversy, especially given Laura's religious vows. This necessitated Laura's sudden departure from the church. CBS actually intervened and dropped this particular storyline.
They stepped in.
Yeah, the nun in love with her sister's fiancé plot, they pulled it within weeks of Phillips' departure. Maybe having learned their lesson about controversial plots after her exit.
Maybe.
However, even with that direct network intervention, the Averys continued to intensely focus on the central conflict between the two sisters loving the same man, which ironically led to strong fan devotion and a significant spike in the Nielsen ratings.
So the audience loved it anyway.
Audiences, it seems, were absolutely captivated by the forbidden romance and the sheer family turmoil it unleashed.
It's amazing how the drama just kept on coming no matter who was writing. It's like the very premise of the show was a magnet for chaos in the best possible way for a soap opera. All right, let's attempt to dive into the year-by-year storyline synopsis of Love is a Many Splendored Thing. Prepare yourselves, because this is going to be a wild, tumultuous ride that embodies the very essence of daytime drama.
Let's do it. In 1967, the show opens with Mia Elliott's arrival in San Francisco to study medicine, establishing her initial relationships with Paul Bradley and Dr. Jim Abbott.
Okay, the setup.
Simultaneously, we see the profound internal struggle of Laura Donnelly, or Sister Cecilia, fighting her powerful attraction to Mark Elliott as she prepares for her final vows.
The nun storyline.
We also see Iris, unsure of Mark's true feelings and sensing Laura's attraction, begin a descent into heavy drinking and getting involved with a rather shady character, Jock Porter.
Trouble brewing.
A drunken Iris even crashes a car with Mark, though they miraculously escape serious injury. This sets up the central love triangle that would dominate the show.
Moving into 1968, the drama continues to escalate, especially with Mia Elliott's departure.
Yes. Mia departs after it's chillingly revealed that Jock Porter paid Dr. Jim Abbott to perform an illegal terminated pregnancy on his girlfriend, Terry Andrews, who later unalived herself as a result.
Oh my God, that's dark.
It's very dark. This scandal forces Jim Abbott to leave San Francisco, and Iris becomes emotionally involved with him before his departure.
Okay.
Laura makes the life-altering decision against her final vows, leaves the church, and embarks on a relationship with Mark, who ends things with Iris and begins a new career as an architect.
So Laura chooses Mark over the church.
Simultaneously, Lieutenant Tom Donnelly, Laura's brother, helps Helen Elliott overcome her grief after her husband Philip unalived himself suddenly, and in a rapid development, they quickly marry.
Fast rebound.
Soap opera speed. Iris, still seeking stability, finds herself attracted to Spencer Garrison, a handsome married lawyer and rising senatorial candidate.
Married lawyer. Always a good sign.
Always.
1969 sounds like an absolutely packed year, full of betrayals and incredible twists.
It truly was a whirlwind. Laura and Mark marry, and she soon discovers she's pregnant, bringing joy to their tumultuous relationship.
Some happiness, finally.
Meanwhile, Spencer Garrison leaves his wife Nancy for Iris, who also becomes pregnant, setting up a parallel narrative of new families.
Okay, musical chairs.
During a flight to Lake Tahoe, Spence and Iris's private plane crashes, a devastating event that leaves Iris blinded by a serious brain injury.
Blinded, wow.
Just as this tragedy unfolds, Mark has an extramarital affair with Jean Garrison, who happens to be Spence's stepmother.
His stepmother.
Which becomes public after Jean's ex-husband, Steve Hurley, is unalived under mysterious circumstances. Mark's subsequent murder trial causes Laura, already fragile, to miscarry and then suffer a severe nervous breakdown.
This is relentless.
Learning she can never carry another child, Laura, in her despair, initiates divorce proceedings. In a desperate and heartbreaking twist, Iris, diagnosed with a terminal brain injury,
Terminal now.
agrees with Spence that their baby should go to the childless Laura, but the court rejects adoption by a single mother. Iris then, with incredible selflessness, persuades Mark and Laura to reconcile for the baby's sake, leading to the birth of William Alex Garrison.
So they get back together for the baby.
And in a truly classic soap opera twist, Andy Hurley falls deeply in love with Nikki Cabot, a talented ballerina, only for them to discover they are illegitimate siblings.
Oh no, siblings.
They plan to leave San Francisco to escape their complicated past, but Nikki suddenly unalived herself on stage while dancing, leaving Andy devastated.
Oh my goodness, that's A monumental amount of drama for just 1 year. This is why you need that flow chart I mentioned earlier, just to track all these connections and tragedies. What about 1970? Does it get any less intense?
Not at all. In 1970, Tom's relationship with Helen is strained by the arrival of his ex-wife, Julie Richards, an out-of-work actress.
Ex-wife trouble. Standard.
Julie, desperate for money, threatens to sue for custody of their son Ricky if Tom and Helen don't pay her off, adding financial and emotional pressure.
Blackmail. Nice.
After Laura and Mark gain custody of Iris and Spence's son Billy, Iris is miraculously cured of her blindness by experimental laser surgery performed by the brilliant neurosurgeon, Dr. Peter Chernak.
She can see again, a miracle.
This medical miracle offers a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. Will, the patriarch, becomes smitten with Peter's charming mother, Lily, and Peter's independent sister, Dr. Betsy Chernak, joins the hospital staff, creating new relationship dynamics.
New characters, new possibilities.
When Iris, now sighted, demands Billy back, Laura, still emotionally fragile, goes insane, kidnaps the child, and nearly unalives them both in a terrifying car crash.
Kidnaps the baby. Oh, Laura.
Meanwhile, Tom is arrested for the murder of Julie's boyfriend, Jim Whitman. But Julie eventually confesses she accidentally unalived him during a violent argument and leaves town, freeing Tom.
So much unaliving, so much chaos, so many emotional breakdowns. This is why these shows kept people glued to their screens. What happens in 1971?
In 1971, a contrite Laura finally submits to psychiatric therapy and agrees to adopt a baby with Mark, seeking stability.
Trying to heal. Good.
Iris and Laura are delighted when their father Will marries Lily Chernak, bringing a rare moment of peace.
A wedding. Finally.
Peter Chernak, the brilliant doctor, romances, and marries Angel Allison, but predictably, has an extramarital fling with Jean Garrison.
Oh, Peter. Can't keep it in his pants.
Seems not. Laura and Mark decide to adopt Maria, a deeply troubled girl from an orphanage. Then, miraculously, Laura gets pregnant again, defying all previous medical predictions.
Pregnant again. Amazing.
Maria, intensely jealous of Mark and the potential new baby, subtly manipulates the Elliots' marriage, attempting to drive a wedge between them.
The evil child trope.
When her manipulations are unsuccessful, she takes drastic action, locking Mark in the garage and setting it on fire. Thankfully, Mark is saved. Maria is quickly turned in by her best friend, Tommy Hale.
Tried to unalive him. She's disturbed.
When Laura confronts Maria about the fire, she chases her down steps, falls, suffers her second miscarriage, and is tragically committed to a sanitarium, her hope for a family once again shattered.
Oh, no. Not another miscarriage. Poor Laura.
Meanwhile, Tom leaves the police force to pursue a law degree, seeking a new path for himself.
Wow, even after miraculously getting pregnant, she has another miscarriage and is committed. What an absolute roller coaster of emotions. And we're not even at one of the show's most significant and controversial storylines yet, are we? Let's talk about 1972, because this year brings a truly shocking turn of events.
This year brings perhaps the most impactful and controversial of the show's later storylines. Betsy Chernak begins a stormy romance with Joe Taylor, who runs a children's daycare, but also works for Senator Al Preston, Spencer Garrison's political opponent in the senatorial primary.
Politics and romance. Dangerous mix.
Laura, now out of the sanitarium, is despondent over being childless, and her despair drives Mark to heavy drinking. One night, in a drunken stupor, he mistakes Iris for Laura and grapes her, resulting in a pregnancy.
Whoa! He grapes his sister-in-law, thinking she's his wife.
Exactly. This is an absolutely shocking development, both for the characters and for the audience at the time. Fearing a massive scandal that would derail Spence's election chances, Iris, in a desperate attempt to protect her husband, agrees to keep the grape a secret and pass the baby off as Spence's, a lie that would ripple through their lives.
So she's pregnant with her sister's husband's child, and her husband believes it's his. That is a truly tangled web, even for a soap opera. And then a blackmailer gets involved, of course, because things are never simple.
Naturally, a blackmailer steps into the fray. Walter Travis, a truly nefarious character, forces Joe Taylor to record a meeting at Spence and Iris' apartment.
Oh, the tape recording. Classic.
But the plan goes awry in the most dramatic fashion. Instead of capturing what Travis intended, the tape turns out to be a conversation between Iris and Betsy, inadvertently revealing Mark as the graper and the true father of Iris' baby.
The truth comes out. On tape.
Travis initially plans to use the tape to force Spence to drop out of the senatorial race. But this plan also backfires when Senator Al Preston unalived himself in a car crash, removing the immediate political leverage.
Just constant chaos.
Amidst this chaos, Peter Chernak reconciles with Angel, and they have baby Nicole, a small ray of hope. Joe confides in Betsy that Walter Travis is blackmailing him over the murder of Travis's wife, Joe's lover, 7 years ago, revealing another layer of hidden secrets.
More secrets, of course.
Iris gives birth to a baby girl she names Maggie, further cementing the lie. And through all this, Spence finally wins the election to become San Francisco's next state senator, completely unaware of the shocking secret lurking beneath his family's perfect facade.
My head is absolutely spinning from that 1 year alone. The layers of deception, the shocking revelations, it's a testament to the writer's ability to keep raising the stakes. And finally, the show's last year, 1973. How does this incredible saga conclude?
In 1973, Walter Travis is unalived with a Demerol overdose in the hospital while under Betsy's care.
The blackmailer gets it. Who did it?
Fearing Joe's involvement in Travis's wife's murder will surface, Betsy bravely confesses to the crime to protect him.
She takes a fall.
Tom agrees to represent Betsy, and through their investigation, they eventually discover that Travis actually unalived his own wife years ago, not Joe.
Ah, a twist.
It's later proven that Al Preston's secretary, Celia Winters, was the one who unalived Travis in the hospital.
The secretary, out of nowhere.
Joe promises Iris and Mark that Laura and Spence will never learn the truth about Maggie's parentage. But before she's committed to a sanitarium, a deranged Celia, in a final act of malice, reveals the truth about Maggie to Laura, completely shattering Laura's world.
Celia spills the beans. Oh, Laura finds out.
Iris's ex-flame Dr. Jim Abbott returns, and despite her marriage, relentlessly pursues Iris, adding more romantic complications. Desperate for a baby, Laura schemes with Jim to get custody of Maggie after he discovers Mark is her biological father.
Laura's scheming now, this poor woman.
However, Tom, ever the voice of reason, arranges a private adoption for Laura and Mark, and Laura finally reconciles with Iris, putting an end to their long-standing feud.
Reconciliation. Good.
Laura and Mark adopt a baby boy they name Philip Elliott, finally fulfilling Laura's dream of motherhood. In a final sad twist, Peter learns that Angel has incurable cancer and vows to make her last days the happiest of her life.
Phew, what an absolute ride from start to finish. And how did this incredibly dense, often dark, but utterly captivating saga finally end?
The finale, which aired on March 23, 1973, saw a rare moment of joy amidst the drama. Joe and Betsy marry in a beautiful outdoor ceremony, surrounded by friends and family.
A happy ending for someone, at least.
But in a truly unique and poignant moment for a television show, Judson Lair, who played the beloved Dr. Will Donnelly, broke character to address the audience directly.
He broke the fourth wall.
He did. He confirmed the show's cancellation and delivered a heartfelt goodbye, thanking viewers for allowing them into their homes for 5.5 years and expressing the actors' collective sadness at saying goodbye.
Wow, that's unusual. Very direct.
It was a remarkably direct and emotional conclusion to such a tumultuous, boundary-pushing series. It truly showcased the intimate connection that these shows forged with their dedicated audience.
So what does all of this tell us about Love is a Many Splendored Things, broadcast history, and its ultimate legacy? I mean, with all that compelling drama, those incredible plot twists, and those groundbreaking themes, you'd think it would have been an undeniable smash hit, holding its own against any competition.
It's a great question, and the answer is complex. Love is a Many Splendored Thing actually owed its very existence to CBS daytime head Fred Silverman, who at the time genuinely preferred serials over game shows, believing they fostered deeper viewer loyalty.
Okay, so it had powerful backing initially.
Initially, yes.
Yeah.
Despite strong, loyal viewership, it struggled to dominate its time slot, often battling against NBC's then New Days of Our Lives and ABC's The Newlywed Game. While it maintained fairly robust ratings throughout its run, averaging an 8.5 rating and a 29% share.
Which isn't bad at all.
Not bad. But it couldn't quite maintain the massive audience from its lead-in, the top-rated As the World Turns. This shows the challenge of holding an audience even with a popular preceding show.
So it was doing respectably well, but not necessarily a ratings juggernaut. And then came the infamous time slot battle that often sealed a soap opera's fate, didn't it?
Exactly. On September 11, 1972, CBS moved Love is a Many Splendored Thing to the 3 p.m. ET slot.
Uh-oh. The death slot.
It could be. This was largely due to Procter & Gamble, who, as we discussed, were incredibly powerful in the daytime landscape and produced 4 of CBS's serials. They wanted their shows, specifically Blinding Light and The Edge of Night, aired consecutively to maximize viewer retention.
The P&G block. Got it.
Shortly before this time change, the show's subject matter was also shifted, consciously moving from a primary focus on traditional love stories to one of deeper political intrigue and blackmail, reflecting the more dramatic and complex tone it had taken on.
Trying to adapt, maybe?
However, in its new 3 p.m. slot, it faced much stiffer competition from two newly ascendant competitors, ABC's General Hospital and NBC's Another World, both of which consistently won the time slot.
Tough competition.
This shift in competition and the inability to gain traction ultimately led to its cancellation. It was announced on February 12, 1973, with the final episode airing on March 23. CBS, notably, replaced it with a revitalized version of The Price is Right, which became a massive hit.
Wow. Replaced by Bob Barker. That's history.
This exemplifies how crucial a time slot and competitive landscape were in the cutthroat world of daytime television.
That's absolutely fascinating how a strategic decision, like a time slot shift, combined with a changing competitive landscape can ultimately seal a show's fate, regardless of its creative ambition. And I imagine with all those intense, sprawling storylines, there must have been quite a lot of cast changes as well, a revolving door of actors for key roles.
You're spot on. The show experienced significant cast turnover. Lead characters like Laura Donnelly Elliott and Mark Elliott were recast multiple times.
How many times?
Laura, for instance, had 3 different actresses portray her, and Mark was played by 5 different actors throughout the show's relatively short run.
5 Marks. Wow, that's tough on the audience.
It can be. This revolving door of cast replacements was partly due to the departure of original stars who found success in other ventures, like Leslie Charlson, David Burney, and Donna Mills.
Big names moving on.
The show's producers tried to pivot, focusing on other strong characters, like Betsy Chernak-Taylor, and diving deeper into those complex storylines involving politics and blackmail after shifting away from its initial love story focus, hoping to recapture audience interest. But unfortunately, the ratings simply didn't recover fast enough to justify its continued run.
That's a real shame for such a creatively ambitious show, but it sounds like it still left a pretty unique and significant legacy, despite its relatively short run compared to other Phillips's creations. What aspects truly set it apart?
It absolutely did. Love is a Many Splendored Thing is particularly notable for its strong focus on young characters, consciously and strategically targeting young viewers alongside its traditional older female audience.
Ah, the youth focus. That's interesting.
In this approach, it actually predated other youth-focused soaps like One Life to Live and All My Children, which later became synonymous with younger demographics. So it was truly ahead of its time in identifying that market.
Paving the way.
Another unique legacy was in its music. Its organist, Eddie Layton, introduced groundbreaking jazz and pop influences to the show's score, consciously moving away from the heavy, traditional symphonic and theatrical organ style that was typical of more established soap operas.
Really? Jazz in a soap?
Yeah. This innovation was significant and actually influenced later soaps to move towards more contemporary orchestral and synthesizer-based scores, fundamentally changing the sonic landscape of daytime television.
That's such a cool, almost niche detail that highlights its broader impact beyond just its storylines. It really shows how every element of these shows was meticulously crafted. And what about the actual physical preservation of the show? With all this incredible history, all these boundary-pushing plots, you'd hope every episode would be perfectly archived for future generations to study and enjoy.
Unfortunately, that is not the case at all, and it's one of the great tragedies of early broadcast history.
No, don't tell me they wiped the tapes.
All 1,430 episodes of Love is a Many Splendored Thing were originally recorded on videotape at the CBS Broadcast Center studio, #41 in New York City. But like most soaps of the late 1960s and early 1970s, those incredibly valuable tapes were routinely wiped for reuse.
Ugh, just taped over.
The cost of new videotape was prohibitive, and the long-term historical value of these daily serials was simply not recognized at the time. It's a sad fact of broadcast history.
So most of it is gone.
While some rare Canescopes, which are film recordings of television broadcasts, exist with private collectors, only 7 videotapes of the entire series are officially confirmed to exist at the UCLA Film and Television Archive.
Only 7 out of over 1,400.
Exactly. A 1967 episode is viewable at the Internet Archive, offering a tiny glimpse, but the vast majority of this dramatic, groundbreaking history is simply lost to time.
That's heartbreaking.
It's a real challenge when we look back at the early days of television, understanding how much was simply not considered worth preserving, and the immense impact of these lost episodes on our ability to fully appreciate and study broadcast history.
That's such a profound tragedy, isn't it? To think of all that drama, all those characters, all those groundbreaking moments just wiped away for the sake of a new blank tape. It really drives home the ephemeral nature of television in its early days.
Yep.
But let's bring it back to Irna Phillips, because her enduring impact extends far, far beyond love, is a many-splendored thing.
Oh, absolutely.
This woman's career, her legacy, certainly didn't end there.
Far from it. Even while creating and overseeing Love is a many-splendored thing, she was already shaping the future. She co-created Another World with William J. Bell in 1964.
Another giant.
Which was originally planned as a sister show,
Yeah.
As the World Turns, expanding her interconnected universe of dramas. She was also a highly sought-after story editor for Days of Our Lives and a story consultant on Peyton Place in 1965, showing her influence across multiple networks.
Oh, she was everywhere.
And in 1965, she made history yet again by co-creating Our Private World, which was significant because it was the first primetime series ever spun off directly from a daytime serial, featuring the popular As the World Turns character, Lisa Miller.
A primetime soap spinoff. That's ambitious.
This was a bold experiment, attempting to bridge daytime and primetime audiences, something few dared to try.
And just to reinforce how incredibly strong-willed she was, she famously left Love is a Many-Splendored Thing when CBS censors refused to fully tell that controversial love story between an American woman and a white man. It truly shows she stood by her creative principles and wasn't just in it for the paycheck.
She absolutely did. Her integrity as a storyteller was paramount, and her family was also deeply involved in her continuing legacy. She was the unofficial story editor for A World Apart, an ABC soap opera created by her adopted daughter, Catherine.
Her daughter created soap too, wow.
Further cementing her family's place in the genre. Then, in her final years, in the early 1970s, As the World Turns, the show she had made a ratings giant, asked her to return and write for them. A fitting full circle.
Back to where it arguably all started for TV.
Pretty much.
And even that final gig had its own dose of signature Phillips controversy, didn't it? She truly went out with a bang, still pushing boundaries right up to the very end.
It did indeed. In her final run, she introduced a new character, Kimberly Sullivan, who shockingly seduced Bob Hughes, her sister Jennifer's husband, and became pregnant with his child.
Whoa! Still bringing the heat.
This proved to be the final straw for Procter & Gamble, the powerful sponsor who fired Phillips in early 1973.
Fired again, even at the end.
It was her very last writing gig, and she left the industry as she began, pushing the envelope and refusing to compromise. She was, as many remember her, a fiercely independent entrepreneur who understood the business of broadcasting. She consciously retained ownership rights to all her series.
That ownership piece again, crucial.
Producing them through Carl Wester and Company, a strategic move that gave agencies, sponsors, and networks little control over her soap opera empire. This autonomy was incredibly rare for a creative, let alone a woman, in that era. She died on December 23, 1973, in Chicago, aged 72, from undisclosed causes.
What an incredible life and a truly unparalleled career. Just to sum up the astonishing breadth of her creations, she was behind an immense list of radio hits including Painted Dreams, Guiding Light, The Road of Life, Young Dr. Malone, The Brighter Day, Today's Children, Judy and Jane, Woman in White, Joyce Jordan MD, The Right to Happiness, Lonely Women, and Masquerade.
Just listing them is exhausting.
Right. And on television, her influence was equally vast with shows like These Are My Children, Guiding Light, The Brighter Day, The Road of Life as the World Turns, Another World, Our Private World, Days of Our Lives, Love is a Many-Splendored Thing, and A World Apart. That's an astonishing, almost unbelievable list of groundbreaking and long-running hits.
It truly is. Her output was prodigious and her impact immeasurable. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, why these intricate, often controversial, and incredibly dramatic narratives like Love is a Many-Splendored Thing resonated so deeply with audiences then, and why the genre continues to fascinate us even today.
Yeah, what is it about them?
Soap operas, championed and largely defined by figures like Irna Phillips, became a truly unique mirror to societal changes, evolving fears, and universal desires. They are often ahead of their time, pushing boundaries and exploring taboo subjects before primetime television dared to.
Right, tackling stuff others wouldn't.
They explored complex moral dilemmas, the messy realities of family dynamics, and the raw breadth of human emotions in a continuous, evolving format that kept viewers hooked for decades. They gave voice to struggles that many people were experiencing or observing in their own lives, offering both escapism and a strange form of validation.
It's so true. It really makes you pause and wonder about the kinds of stories we as a culture gravitate towards, both then and now.
And talking about those complex plots, have you ever tried to explain a classic soap opera storyline to someone who's never watched one?
Oh, it's impossible. You start with, okay, so this guy unalived himself, but then his secret twin came back, and then his wife thought she was having his baby, but it was actually her sister's husband's after he accidentally raped her. And their eyes just glaze over. It's like trying to explain quantum physics in a single breath.
Exactly. They just can't follow the twist.
But even with all that dramatic chaos, all those incredible twists, the heart of these shows was often about incredibly human stories, about the daily struggles and triumphs people faced, much like Phillips's own life experiences.
Fundamentally, yes.
Yeah.
Beneath the melodrama.
Considering the wild storylines and intense network pushback Irna Phillips faced, consistently pushing the envelope, what current pop culture narratives do you think are pushing boundaries today? Or which ones are perhaps playing it a little too safe in comparison?
That's a fantastic question to consider. It speaks to the ongoing tension between creative vision and commercial viability, a battle Phillips knew intimately and fought throughout her career. Where are the modern Irna Phillips taking those bold, controversial steps that challenge us to look closer at ourselves and our society?
And that, my friends, is our deep dive into the incredible, trailblazing world of Irna Phillips and the absolute roller coaster ride that was Love is a Many Splendored Thing. What an extraordinary journey through television history.
It really was something.
Phew, I need to lie down after all that drama, betrayal, and unexpected pregnancies. My emotional energy is completely spent.
It truly showcases the enduring power of storytelling and the fascinating battles that took place behind the scenes to bring these complex, compelling narratives to life, defining a genre as they went.
Absolutely. So if you enjoyed this deep dive, please do us a huge favor. Like this episode, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future deep dives, and most importantly, leave a comment below.
Yeah, we love reading those.
We absolutely love hearing your thoughts, your favorite soap opera moments, or any questions this deep dive sparked for you. Your comments truly help us keep diving deep into these amazing topics, and they let us know what you want to hear more about.
Definitely.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Classic Soap Operas podcast. Until next time, keep those dramatic turns coming.